Welcome to Camille's Country Corner. I am Camille, and on today's episode we will be making what's called surprise hamburgers. And we're going to start off with some dough. So we're going to go ahead and make that first. And let me show you what you need for this recipe. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Definitely hit that like button. All right, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? For this recipe, you will need some yeast and some flour and some sugar, which I have not pulled out yet, to get the dough started. We also need some olive oil, which I have not pulled out yet either. But for the meat portion of it, I'm going to be using 1 pound of ground beef. We're going to need a half an onion and some garlic. I'm going to use some seasoning salt, some pepper, and I'm going to use barbecue sauce and some A1 sauce. All right, let's get started. I'll show you how to put this together. All right, to my water, I have already mixed up my sugar. And we're going to add our packet of yeast. This is just to bloom it. This is active yeast. You don't technically have to do this, but I want to make sure that my yeast is good, because why start a project and your yeast is no longer working for you? All right, we're going to go ahead and put our 6 cups of flour, 3 cups of flour into our, I'm having this recipe. Normally it would be 6 cups, but I'm going to go ahead. Let's get started here. I'm going to use 3 cups of flour. I'm just going to use all-purpose flour today, but you can use any kind of flour that you prefer. We need a 1/4 cup of olive oil. And we need a teaspoon of salt. Just going to eyeball that. All right, we're going to go ahead and dump our yeast in here. It is ready to go. And our sugar. Let's go ahead and mix that up. All right, we're just going to form it into a ball. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of olive oil in my bowl. Okay, now I am going to cover this with a towel, and we're going to let this sit for approximately 30 minutes to an hour. In the meantime, let's go ahead and start our hamburger mixture that we're going to use in this recipe. All right, to my pan I have added my 1 pound of ground beef. We're going to go ahead and brown that up. I'm going to add my onion and my garlic. I'm going to cook that at the same time. All right, our hamburger is pretty much almost done here, so I'm going to be adding our seasonings. So I'm going to be adding about a teaspoon, or about a teaspoon and a half of our seasoning salt. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of our barbecue sauce. And a little bit of our A1. Now this is how I make my hamburgers. This is not what the recipe called for, but I add my own because theirs seemed a little bit bland, so I went with the way we eat burgers. Now one thing I forgot to show you is you do add some cheese. So I have this triple cheddar. This has sharp cheddar cheese, Wisconsin, New York, and Vermont, all cheddar cheeses. All right, and just to soak up any excess oils that we might have in here, I'm going to go ahead and add a 1/4 cup of flour. We're just going to cook this for a little bit. And then I'm going to add about a cup to a cup and a half of this cheese. And I'm going to go ahead and set this aside, let this cool while our dough is rising. I will bring you back and show you how to put it all together. Now that our dough has doubled in size, we are going to go ahead and roll these out, show you how to make these. So I'm just going to pinch off some dough and we're going to stretch it into a circle. I'm going to place a bit of the mixture and we're going to fold it up and around. And we're going to pinch it off just like this. And we're going to place them on the cookie sheet. And I have my cookie sheet just lined with some parchment paper just to make life a little bit easier for myself. I'm going to do a few more, or at least one more, show you. Take about a spoonful of the mixture, pull it up over top. This dough works very easily to wrap around. There we go. All right, I'm going to continue to roll. I'll do a few more. Let the camera roll. You can definitely use your rolling pin here if you'd like. Not necessary, but if you want to. This is some of the easiest dough to work with. All right, I'm going to continue to roll, bring you back for the next process. Okay, now that we have them all rolled out, I'm just going to top them with a little bit of oil. I have my oven preheating at 375. We're going to let these rise for another about 15 minutes to a half an hour while the oven is preheating. Out of that batch, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 18 of them. Not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and cover these just with some plastic. You can put a tea towel over them if you'd like, but I did put oil on them, so I didn't want to get my tea towel all icky. And I'm going to let these rise for 15 to 20 minutes or 15 to 30 minutes, depending. And then I'll show you what they look like when they're done. At the end of our next rise time, we're going to oil these one more time. Then we're going to throw them in the oven at 375 for about 15 to 20 minutes until they're golden brown. All right, friends, this is what it looks like when they are done. All right, now that it's done, let's give it a try. Just grab this one on the end. I had it in the oven for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that. It did take a little bit longer than 15. All right, it's so hot, but we're gonna try it and see what it's like. We're gonna have to take another bite. There we go. I would definitely get a little cup with all your condiments, but this is a great appetizer, or tonight it's going to be our meal. It's just a different way for hamburgers, but I really like it. I think I would use it more for maybe a party. It's just a fun, creative way to have hamburgers. But it's definitely tasty. It's cheeseburger all wrapped up in a little biscuit. It's great. I hope you give this one a try. It's fun to make. That dough is great to work with. All right, if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, hit that like, and I hope you try this recipe. Thanks for stopping by here today. Have a good one.